Can dogs see ghosts and other paranormal entities? Watch this video and tell me what this dog saw.
Really backing away from it, then let's go. Let's go. Let's go. What are you doing?
Haunted places in India. Putul Bari, aka the House of Dolls. It is located adjacent to the circular railway track and close to the Shobha Bazaar jetty. In the 20th century, Putul Bari was used as a warehouse for trade activities, and the top floor being used by the owner as his residence. But why was this beautiful building turned into a warehouse? Long ago, it was believed that the owner abused his powers during that time. They would rape young women at this place and then murder them in order to hide their secrets. As a result, the place became haunted by the souls of this woman. Presently, this place is being used as a home with a couple of tenants staying here. The tenants claim that there is no ghost inside. They even put up a sign saying there is no ghost here for people trespassing.
Who was the infamous poisoner of 17th century Italy? Giulia Tofana was a 17th century Italian woman who became known as a notorious poisoner. She created a toxic mixture known as aqua tofana, which was colorless and odorless and could be added to food or drink without detection. Tofana sold the poison to women who wanted to escape from unhappy marriages or other difficult situations. It's estimated that aqua tofana may have been responsible for the deaths of over 600 men. Tofana was eventually caught, and after confessing to her crimes, she was executed in 1650.
He kept looking over his son, even in the afterlife. A woman named Whitney explains that while she was 6 months pregnant with her second son Leo, her husband Ryan was making his way back home from the gym when he was stung by a bee. Later that day, he was rushed to the hospital due to an allergic reaction that caused some brain damage from a lack of oxygen. Due to this, Ryan would unfortunately pass away without ever meeting his newborn son Leo. But one night, while Whitney was watching the baby monitor, this happens. She sees a shape of light on top of Leo's head as if it were caressing her baby.
I feel intense sadness because I know that Ryan, my late husband, would love to see his boys like this, that he is missing all of these moments, and that makes me incredibly sad.
Whitney believes this is her husband Ryan looking over his son Leo from the other side.
What if the pyramids of Egypt were not just impressive architectural feats, but also a source of immense power? Nikola Tesla, the legendary inventor, believed that the pyramids were not just tombs, but rather a giant source of power. He claimed that they were capable of harnessing the energy of the Earth and the cosmos. Tesla believed that the pyramids were designed to be perfectly aligned with the magnetic fields of the Earth, which would allow them to store and transmit energy wirelessly. This energy was believed to be used for healing, communication, and even levitation. So,
this killer accidentally admitted to his crimes by accident when he forgot he was wearing a microphone while taking part in a documentary. This is how a true crime documentary exposed a killer. In 1971, Robert Durst met Kathleen McCormack and they got married. At the time of her disappearance in 1982, Kathleen had nearly graduated college. She was last seen by a witness at a dinner party where she appeared to be upset. She got a call from Robert and left. Robert admitted to having argued with Kathleen that night, but he said he put her on a train to New York and then never saw her again. Her friend called police to report her missing. Interestingly, Kathleen had been treated at a medical centre for facial bruises weeks prior to this and told the friend that Robert had done it. Robert had actually been dating someone else for some time prior to this and had been living separately to Kathleen. When her family broke into her cottage to try and find out where she was, they found the place had been trashed and her possessions put in the bin. Kathleen's family always believed that Robert was involved in her disappearance. In 2000, Susan Berman, a friend of Robert's, was found murdered. Now, she'd actually provided Robert with an alibi for Kathleen's disappearance. Now, pay really close attention to this next bit. Days after she was killed, a letter addressed to the Beverly Hills Police Department contained Susan's address and the word cadaver on it. On the envelope, Beverly was misspelled. Robert admitted in 2005 that Susan had called him shortly before her death to say that the police wanted to question her about Kathleen going missing. It's believed that Robert killed Susan to keep her quiet. In 2001, Robert's neighbour's body parts were found floating in Galveston Bay. Robert's elderly neighbour, Morris Black, had been killed and Robert was arrested. He was actually released on bail and fled and was found about a month later in Pennsylvania. He was found with $37,000 cash, 2 weapons, and interestingly, Morris Black's driving license. In court, Robert claimed he was acting in self-defense. He said he'd accidentally shot Morris and dismembered his body. Due to lack of forensics, he only got 5 years in jail. This is where things get really crazy. HBO was filming a documentary called The Jinx. During production, Susan's stepson found a letter written by Robert. This contained the same spelling error in the word Beverly as the anonymous letter to police. This implicated Robert in the murder. Now, while filming the documentary, Robert needed the toilet. He forgot that he had a microphone still attached to him. He was recorded talking to himself. He said, "There it is, you're caught. You're right, of course, but you can't imagine. Arrest him." And then he said, "What a disaster. He was right. I was wrong." And finally he said, "I'm having difficulty with the question. What the hell did I do? Killed them all, of course."
Kenzie?